One of the biggest trends in dining and entertaining in the last couple of years has been the invention of the charcuterie board. Today, the ladies from Charcuterie Company are going to teach me and you how to build a board and entertain in our own homes. I'm Dawn Pompelli, editor and owner of the Scout Guide Huntsville, and this is Scouted. Well, today we're here with Stephanie and Emily of Charcuterie Company, and they are going to solve my biggest problem. How do I build a beautiful charcuterie board at home?
I'm so glad that that's your biggest problem.
Yeah, that's true. That feels like a pretty good life if that's your big problem.
So how do I start? You have a beautiful board here. I don't have a board like this.
You don't. So we've got two examples of different boards here. This is actually a local builder here, and this is also from Kaylee Page, one of our local stores. But if you don't have a board, don't worry. You can use a platter, a plate. Emily has talked about building on cake plates before, really any surface that you want to cover.
That's right, and in times of crisis, a paper plate will do just fine. So this does not have to be fancy. I think that's one of the things about charcuterie boards is people are like, how do I say it? And that feels fancy to me. So we're trying to kind of break down that stigma because everybody deserves snacks. Snacks for all.
Yes. So we always start with the heaviest items first. Just like in any type of art, you wanna layer. So I'm gonna start with, and so you can use grapes. We're using strawberries here to start with the heavy fruit. Gonna kinda get this all tucked in there. And then I'll start with our little bowls. So these are ones that we use. These are made out of palm leaf, but you can use anything that you've got at home. If you've got small ramekins, if you're, have a honey just in a jar, put the jar out. It's okay, pop the top, call it a day, it's no problem. Yep. And then when we're doing these, we try to spread them out. Again, there's no, rhyme or reason as far as what exactly it's gonna look like. And we may mess around with it a little bit, but when you start with your heavy items, you give yourself a place to kind of nestle in all the other stuff.
We have these pre-sliced. This is just a wheel of triple cream brie. This is available at almost every supermarket. So we're just gonna kind of layer these, and you'll see, like Steph said earlier, and she'll say, I'm sure again, we kind of like everything to look a little bit crowded and nestled together. We just think that looks really pretty.
One of the things you'll notice about our cheeses, we try to have a variation of hard and soft, and then maybe throw a flavor in, mainly just to mix it up a little bit so that it doesn't really feel like you're kind of eating all of the same textures and consistencies. So next we'll start with meat. This one is a cut capicola, so it's a little bit spicy.
Ooh, yum.
It's got some weight to it, like we were talking about earlier, so it's a little bit easier to stick on a cracker and eat, and we can separate them really however you want. And again, we look for spots to cover the board. When we're done, we like you to not even know there's a board underneath there. Mm-hmm. This is just a plain Genoa salami, so good. We get questions about this all the time.
Yep.
Like how to fold a salami. I promise you, it is very easy.
Sure.
There is no big secret. So we literally just take the circle, fold it in half, and then fold it in half again.
So just like we have the 3 cheeses, we normally like to do 3 carbs. So we've got these honey pretzel sticks, this really delicious cracker that comes from the fancy section of the store or the fancy store, and then these like fig and seed crisps that are really good. Yeah, they're so good. So we like to put those on, and whereas some of this stuff we cluster it all together, we've learned with crackers and with carbs, if you split them up, it actually can look a little bit more polished at the end. So I'm just gonna take multiple chunks and find a spot where they can live, and you kind of have to, work with it and help them fan out so that they look pretty and they're easy to grab. The other things that we like to make sure we include are fresh produce, and that's just because it adds that brightness and flavor. Mm-hmm. We love these mini cucumbers whenever we can get our hands on these. Same scenario here, you can split them up and kind of stick them in where you can give them an anchor to kind of fan out. And then we've also got these berries, and for us, when we garnish, we do odd numbers. So it's either 3s or 5s. So we'll take 3 and tuck those right in there, and then we'll take another set of 3 and tuck them over here.
It really is very much like flower arranging.
Yes,
it is.
It's a similar idea.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're just looking for those holes in your board. So a lot of times we'll make a board and then we'll look at it from all different angles and decide where she is lacking, and give her a little oomph where she needs it.
I mean, the number one thing for me is how much. So you're saying 3 cheeses, 3 meats, 3 carbs. Love that. I like a rule. I will follow that. And you can just do, if you had to do more or a bigger board, you can still do 3, 3, 3.
Yep.
Just more of it. Okay.
Yes. I think another kind of rule for us is if you know how many guests you have coming, we normally say that everyone should be able to have at least a bite and a half of everything that's on the board. So, and that's just because you want people to be able to take those bites and create variations and try new stuff. It's a very low pressure way to try new flavors and to try that sweet and salty or try something spicy. So that's another thing that we try to factor in, but I am Italian, so I always overcook and over prepare food, and Stephanie is a great host, and so we're just constantly making too much food, which is why when you do order a board from us, they are just overflowing. A lot going on, but yeah, so I mean, this looks amazing.
It looks amazing, and now I have a use for the calculator down here. I can start next time, a bite and a half per person per item.
Yes.
I got it.
Absolutely.
I love it. You've solved my biggest problem. My world is complete.
I love it.